Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you all for being here today. Ms. Silvani, I want to express my empathy to you. There is nothing more frightening than when one of your children are sick, and I'm glad that little Joe is doing so much better. The topic before us today is multifaceted and extremely personal. Likely, the issue of leave has impacted each of us, our spouse, our sons and daughters, at some point in our lives. Through the enactment of the Tax Cuts and Job Act, we have seen businesses not only increasing the pay of workers, but also increasing benefits such as family leave. The President and his administration have worked to cut regulations to ensure a more prosperous economy. It is amazing to see the positive advancements that happen when we free businesses from overtaxation and burdensome regulation. Madam Chair, I would ask unanimous consent to offer a study about California's paid family leave into the record. Representative Grothman mentioned it, and I think it's important that it should be included. Ms.
I won't object, but I'll ask that we be able to see that.
Absolutely.
It has not been given to us. I certainly have no objection.
Okay.
Without objection.
Thank you. Ms.
Without
Breslin.
objection, so ordered.
Thank you, ma'am. We have seen the unemployment decrease to 3.5%. We now see employers competing to find good workers. How has the strong economy under President Trump impacted the benefit packages that companies can now offer?
Well, not only have we seen more people have availability to jobs, and you can't have a good benefit package until you have a job, but we've seen a large increase in the number of companies that are offering paid family and medical leave benefits. More than 100 large employers have now come out offering these benefits, and these are not just the upper tiers, the consulting firms. These are the Lowe's, the Target, the Starbucks that typically employ lower wage workers who all now have access to these paid family leave benefits.
In your testimony, you mentioned that record low unemployment is providing opportunities for marginalized workers. Can you expand on that?
Yes, and this is why I want to iterate that the strong economy is better than something like imposing an excessively high one-size-fits-all minimum wage. The evidence has shown that when you impose high minimum wages, you crowd out the employees who are the least marginalized and those who have the hardest time finding a job. It's the lower rung of the ladder that gets cut off, and those workers have no opportunities then. On the other hand, if you provide pro-growth policies that let employers have more benefits to offer to create new jobs, they have opportunities to draw more workers into the labor force, and that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen people who were disabled before, who were discouraged and just gave up on finding a job, and now there are hundreds of thousands of them that have jobs, that are supporting themselves, and that have the benefit of seeing that paycheck that they get as opposed to relying on a government benefit. You know, that's kind of an intangible value to them to be able to provide for themselves and to have choices and flexibility over what they're doing with their money.
Thank you. You also discussed how wage growth has helped contribute to reversing income trends, contributing to inequality. Can you elaborate how the current economy has done this?
Yes, and I just wanted to actually point to my written testimony there because I think there is, based on the recent jobs report, I'm quoting here from the Council of Economic Advisors. It said that from the start of the current expansion through the end of 2016, average wage growth for production and non-supervisory workers lagged that of managers. The bottom 10% of wage earners had previously lagged that of the top percent. Those without a college degree lagged that of the college graduates, and African Americans lagged that of white Americans. Since President Trump took office, each of those trends have been reversed, contributing to lower income inequality. And these are the types of pro-growth, free market policies that are bringing the bottom end up. And those people who have been marginalized before, they are benefiting the most from this. And it's not having the government come in and tell them that they will provide them with a benefit and take more of their money away so that they don't have these choices. It's just letting the economy grow and letting mutual beneficial exchanges between workers and employers help boost everybody.
I understand that the private sector approach is better than a one-size-fits-all approach. How can we encourage innovation and leadership in the private sector in terms of paid family and medical leave?
There are lots of things that we can do without a government program. You know, the Working Families Flexibility Act, all it does is it lets private sector workers have access to the same thing that state and local workers have right now, and that's the choice between, if you work overtime hours, would you rather take time and a half of paid leave, or would you rather take that time and a half of pay? It doesn't force anything upon anyone, and if you are a parent, particularly a single parent, that time off is a lot more valuable in many cases than just having a higher paycheck. There are other things that we can do to encourage among employers. With Ms. Silvani's case, I was thinking of my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and he's a school teacher as well, and in his situation, they had a paid sick leave pool. They had a daughter that was born weighing a pound, and they had to have, you know, extended time off, and she was an hour away from where they were, and he had access to that. You know, other workers were volunteering. I would love to see more employers, particularly larger ones, to say, we're going to set up a
The
pool
gentleman's
that you can
time,
contribute
woman's
to.
time has expired. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
I ask